Greetings, Ben Murray here with another edition of SaaS Metric School. Today we're talking about the forgotten SaaS metric, ARPA, or average revenue per account, or it could be average revenue per user, ARPU. I use this metric all the time in practice, and I'll explain why and how I use this. So what is ARPA? So ARPA, like its name, is average revenue per account, and it's often used in revenue analysis when we take our total revenue, say our total subscription revenue, divide by total users, divide by total customers, whatever your price is for that. And then we calculate that every month and see how that's trending. Of course, we want that moving up and to the right. We want to yield more per customer over time. So it's an important metric to track historically and also in your forecast process. So I use this a lot in my retention analysis and my retention template. And I use this when I'm analyzing the layers of MRR. For example, as we bring on new customers, what's that ARPA that we're bringing on new customers at? Is it higher, lower than our current trend or expectations? And also churn customers. Of course, churn is bad, but if we're going to churn out customers, I'd rather have them churn out a lower ARPA than our customer base than a higher ARPA. If it starts becoming a high ARPA, than our existing customer base, then we could have some issues here. So I look at that churn ARPA to see what customers were paying us and what we're losing there. So then once we have this data, I use it every month in the forecast process, and it makes our revenue forecast so much more accurate. So you think about forecasting your SaaS business and forecasting those layers of MRR. And what I mean by that is new business coming in, expansion, contraction, and churn. And we have to make assumptions around the ARPA for each of those layers. So for example, what am I landing new customers at? What's that ARPA? When customers churn out, what's that ARPA? When I expand, contract. Those are really important assumptions because if you get those materially off, it'll throw off your forecast. If you hone in on those ARPAs for each layer of MRR, it makes your forecast that much accurate. And I've got a SaaS forecast model that almost forecasts revenue by itself when you've got a certain setup in your MRR data and those layers of MRR. And that's a free download that you can go to the SaaSCFO.com and download that. So a little explanation around ARPA, such a simple metric. I think it gets forgotten a lot, but I use it in practice every single month. So that's the final note around ARPA. And if you haven't yet joined my SaaS community, I have almost 3,000 members in there. So make sure you check out the show notes, join that free SaaS community. And I hold a lot of SaaS Metrics AMAs on Fridays, where you can ask any question around SaaS finance, metrics, and accounting. And if you enjoyed this show today and you find value in it, please leave a rating. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.